another exciting edition of the MCS1 show. I am MCS1, and once again I have with me Merlin and Cameron.
Heyo! Hi there.
And we are going to have an At the Movies discussion.
At the movies.
At the movies.
At the movies.
So, it's going to be a little different than our summer of 2016 movies. This is a movie that we've all seen, and we were talking, and we discussed it amongst ourselves quite a bit, and we decided that we should just discuss it as a show. Not part of our summer 2016 lineup, but still pretty good. And so it was a movie that was hyped about for quite a bit.
3 years.
Yeah, all aboard the hype train. Batman v. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Does it actually have a colon? I can't remember if it does. Can you look
yes,
that
it does have a colon.
It does have a colon. Yes! I've been saying that joke for a long time, and I couldn't remember if it had a colon or not.
It's not V dot, it's just Batman v Superman.
Oh, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Okay. Yeah, so we figured, why not discuss this? Everyone's pretty much seen it, although...
Warning, minor spoilers.
Minor spoilers. But still, we're going to try to make this as spoiler-free as we can, as we do everything else, but...
Until we forget about it.
You've been warned by the British announcer chick. So, let's get started. Batman v Superman. Let's talk trailers. So for a long time, there was not much for the trailers for this.
No, really wasn't.
Nope.
It was just like little clips.
There was a Comic-Con trailer that was exclusive, but then it was like not anywhere on the internet. Like they were extremely angry that it would not show up anywhere else.
Yeah, I don't even think there was any bootleg stuff. So, maybe there would have been a bootleg on Pornhub. No. In all seriousness, this is true. Fallout 4 had bootleg footage, and it kept getting removed from YouTube. So they put it on Pornhub.
That's why. No, I remember you. I remember you told me.
And it got a lot of views. And other interesting fact about Fallout 4, and I'm a huge Fallout fan, huge, as Donald Trump would say. I wish Caleb was here to do his Donald Trump impression, saying huge because it is spot on, priceless. I'm a big Fallout fan. Love it. And apparently when Fallout 4 came out, for the next, 2 weeks, I don't know if this is true or not. This is just hearsay, kind of.
Okay.
I fact-checked this from the nerd database known as the Internet.
Snopes.
And I gotta quit it with my jokes. I'm having a hard time getting through this. Apparently Pornhub had a huge... Shut up, nerds. Quit laughing at Pornhub. Apparently had a huge dip in activity for 2 weeks after Fallout 4 came out.
Really?
Yeah, and this is what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. Cam can fact check it if he wants on his phone. Cam usually fact checks during our show.
I try to, but I'm in incognito mode.
Yeah, it's one of the things you don't really want to
Google
or look up. It's just out of fear of what's gonna pop up.
Yeah, pretty much.
No puns intended. So, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The trailers. First trailer we didn't see much of. The first trailer that was released was just not much. It showed the bat suit. I think a little bit of Alfred talking.
Yeah.
And then the bat wing. What is the flying Batmobile called?
Batwing.
Okay, it is the Batwing. Just making sure I got this correct. Because all these nerds are going to be sitting at home and that's incorrect.
And I'm sure there's some version of this ship that's got some technical difference that's called something different.
Yeah.
So it's a Batwing.
So the Batwing going, shooting a building or a warehouse thing, blowing stuff up. And then Superman hitting the ground in front of Batman, and then Ben Affleck being tell me, do you bleed? And then the camera goes back and it's you will. And that was the big thing.
The big one.
Everyone on the internet was just exploding saying, tell me, do you bleed? I mean, that was cool.
Right.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, it was way cool.
We all want to see the Kryptonite Warrior bleed. I mean, let's be honest.
Let's be real here. I've seen a couple Batman versus Superman things. I've seen the comic Batman versus Superman in the future, the alternative future comic.
Okay, yeah.
That one is cool, where Batman, like, he beats Superman, and yeah, spoiler alert, nerds. And if you haven't read this and you're getting mad it's being spoiled, and you're calling yourself a nerd, you're not really a nerd. You would know this already at this point.
Yeah.
And to quote my friend Shane Barker, he had a great quote a while ago. He said, "Remember when nerds were smart?" And that's something I'm going to be covering in other shows. But task at hand, Superman gets the crap kicked out of him by an older Batman, and he says, "I want you to know for this one moment that I beat you." And it was like so cool.
So epic.
Yeah, and I saw the cartoon version of it, and the president in that is like way corrupt too, and you can tell he's controlled by corporate interests, and he even lets it slip as well. And it was sick. So I was interested to see what Zack Snyder was going to do. Do we have any? Well, let's continue on trailers. The next trailer that came out showed Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer expectation at that point, I was kind of excited to see Wonder Woman. I really was. And for the trailer, I thought they made her look good, but I had a fear. I felt that she was going to suck in the movie.
Okay, yeah.
That was my fear. From what I saw in the trailer, she looked powerful, but not super powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really afraid that they were going to make her look like a wiener
No, yeah.
in the movie. I was really afraid of that.
Exactly, no, yeah.
And that was my honest fear. But the rest of it, I was still rather happy with. Like, you see the fight between General Zod and Superman in Metropolis destroying it, and then Bruce Wayne there, the Batman.
Yeah.
Spoiler, Bruce Wayne is Batman. I hate to break it to you.
No way.
But
we're gonna get a lot of angry views.
and you see the Ben Affleck there, and I thought it was cool. I was excited for it. It's not the movie I am most excited to see this year.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly enough, and I get a lot of crap for this, but the movie I am most excited to see this summer is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. I am super pumped for that. And every time I see the trailer when we go to the movies, I am so excited.
Oh, you get so excited.
I am so excited. Like Merlin and Cameron are looking over at me, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what's with him?" And I'll mention this in another episode. I'm not trying to get too much off topic here, but I'm not even nostalgic. I grew up on the Ninja Turtles, but when I look back on the cartoons and the movies, those kind of sucked. And,
yeah.
But I liked the first one that they just came out with, this reboot. I felt they did a great job, like modernizing the turtles, and it's how they would be today within that fantasy world. And what I'm seeing in the new trailer, that's what I feel like the direction they're moving in. It's fantasy, but it's realistic and it's updated, which is what a reboot should be.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's moving in a good direction. But we'll discuss that when it comes out.
When it comes out.
Yeah.
Step to the nerdy topic at hand, Batman versus Superman. The most recent trailer, I guess, is the one before the movie. And those were my thoughts. What were your guys' thoughts, if you have any, that you would like to add?
I mean, my thoughts on the trailers, I mean, let's be honest, like we said, the hype was building up for 3 years. And not only that, but when Wonder Woman was introduced, everyone was like, whoa, okay, so now Wonder Woman's getting thrown in the game.
And then you hear rumors about Aquaman being introduced.
Yeah, I was just like, people told me Aquaman was going to be in the movie, like, legitimately one of the main characters in the movie, I think.
And then I felt like, when I heard that, I was thinking, this is going Avengers.
Yeah.
And I know the end game for the DC films is to lead up to the big Super Friends finale. That's right, that's what they're called, the Super Friends. Oh, I'm sorry, the Justice League.
Justice League.
I would prefer Super Friends. The next reboot better be called the Super Friends.
I would think it'd be hilarious.
I would be so happy if it was. And then it's like a dark Zack Snyder-esque movie where people die. I would be much happier with it being Super Friends.
You just imagine that be big, bold words on the gigantic movie screen. Super Friends.
With like a really happy 70s-ish font.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
This classic style.
That's what I'm looking for.
There you go.
And then like a PSA at the end about not doing drugs.
I thought that was the 80s.
That's what.
No, it's drink your Ovaltine.
Either way, it's something along those lines. So yeah, I was afraid it was going to go Avengers when I heard the Aquaman rumor, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
You were
sorry.
saying-
Back to trailer stuff. Sorry, Merlin.
No, like what I was just saying was, here's the thing that people thought about Wonder Woman was it's like, oh, she's a new actress, she's just breaking in, like is she gonna do it? Surprise, surprise! If anyone is a fan of the Fast and Furious shows, you find out this woman was actually in the Fast and the Furious movies, and it's just one thing that I was just like when it was like, oh, I don't know who she is, I don't know what she does. It's like I hope she's gonna be good. If this is her first movie, I'm like, whoa. Hold the phone. This isn't her first movie, guys. I am a fan of the Fast and Furious movies. And I knew where she was from, so when I saw her as Wonder Woman, I'm like, she can do that. She's a tough chick in the Fast and Furious movies. She plays like a powerful woman role. She does action scenes. And you think, yeah, I could see her being Wonder Woman. So I actually was going in this actually excited to see her play a superhero.
That's cool. Like I don't like the Fast and the Furious movies.
Me neither.
I've seen the first like 20 minutes of Tokyo Drift.
The one people don't like.
The one that people don't.
Yeah, I only saw it because it was hot Asian chicks, and then something better was on TV when I was flipping through the channels. Back when I watched TV and flipped through the channels.
Oh, when you flip, yeah.
Rather than just whatever's on the internet.
Netflix.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. Cam, do you have any thoughts on the trailer that you want to share? Like the most recent one?
Yeah. When the first trailer dropped, I was kind of just like, nah, on the whole thing. But I don't remember whichever trailer it is where Superman goes to punch Bruce Wayne and he just stops his fist with his arm.
Oh.
When that happened, he's just like, what the heck? That's what really piqued my interest on this series, just because it looked like Batman had a chance. Because just going off the whole thing, like, oh, Batman versus Superman. It's not a contest. He's a freaking immortal, basically a god fighting a man. What's it going to happen? But that moment where he just stops it and in genuine shock just goes, what the?
Best part about that is that's like the big thing with Lex Luthor. I got tongue-tied. Was in the movie Jesse Eisenberg. Did a great job. Oddly enough, his hair looks a lot like Cam's hair in real life. Very similar. Cam, you should get your hairstyle to be exactly like that.
I have to cut off a few inches.
That'd be cool, though. I think that'd be sick. You should really do
insane.
that. I would. I think I'd even. I think I would even pay for that haircut.
Oh man.
I think I would.
It's getting
My
real.
family keeps wanting me to cut it, and I can just imagine their faces coming home with that haircut.
We should discuss this later.
Back on topic.
But that was Lex Luthor's big thing, God versus man.
Yep.
The type of thing, and I guess that is what Cam's mentality going in was, which is kind of cool. For me, it's always been like with Batman versus Superman. It's always been like Kryptonite's obviously always a key player.
Always a key player.
Always a key player in that, and it was in this movie, obviously. But what really got me with the trailers and the fighting was Batman's suit. And I thought that was really sick.
Yeah.
And also, see, I thought the suit was the thing doing the voice modulator as well. And Ben Affleck has explained this in interviews, and you find this out in the movie, it's a voice modulator put inside of his suit. And that allows them to, talk really funny.
Robot voice.
And have, like, this completely robotic voice. And it's really cool. And I liked that a lot. But the suit, a lot of people were having gripes with it.
Of course.
And here's the thing. Nerds gripe about everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Just everything. It's out of control. I think the new director of Ghostbusters said, he got so tired of the internet outrage about the Ghostbusters trailer. He said, geek culture is home to some of the biggest assholes. And I think that was the exact quote. And I'll be talking about that more in future episodes, but it's, they were complaining about that. And here's the thing that I thought was really funny. I saw a Facebook post. Again, I hate social media. And I do my best to hide everything from shares from certain pages.
Yeah.
But stuff gets through. And this one was actually good. And then I hid it from my feed. It was, if Iron Man can build a Hulkbuster suit to fight Hulk. Why are you upset that Batman can't build a suit to fight Superman?
Ooh, good
Touche.
point.
Burn! And that was pretty good. And I was like, that's very good. The Hulkbuster suit was, part of comics as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the Batman super suit. I can't quite remember from the Batman versus Superman stuff I've seen for some reason. But still, like, I thought his crazy metal suit, like all electronic and like decked out, like I would expect that thing to have like strobe lights on it and like bass and like all this other crap. Like it was so insane looking. Obviously it didn't, but it was still really cool. So let's talk about overall feel of the movie. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I loved the overall feel of the movie. I liked the direction that Zack Snyder takes. And someone who studies film, as I mentioned in previous episodes, I also want to mention I do not like the Christopher Nolan Batmans. I liked Batman Begins. That was it. The other ones, I felt like The Dark Knight was too long, and The Dark Knight Rises was fairly mediocre to me. Had some cool stuff. Bane's voice is awesome.
Love Bane's voice.
And the take they did on Bane was pretty cool. I will admit that. Heath Ledger as the Joker. I'm not going to lie, it's a great performance. But overall, I do not enjoy Christopher Nolan's taste in his artistic taste. And I didn't like Inception. And I got Inception. So don't even be like, you didn't like it because you didn't get it. No, I get it.
Prepare for internet rage.
Yeah, just stop, okay? It's ridiculous how much people hold that to such a high standard.
I know.
And as they said in Honest Trailers, everyone gives Christopher Nolan a free pass because he did The Dark Knight.
Yeah, he did The Dark Knight.
And that's what they said like during their Interstellar Honest Trailer, which I did not see Interstellar.
Nor did I.
I saw the first 10 minutes, and here's the thing. I hate Christopher Nolan, but I love Matthew McConaughey.
Agreed, yes.
Like in Dungeons and Dragons, like they have like character alignments, like lawful good, neutral, evil,
Chaotic good.
Like lawful evil.
Yeah, lawful evil and stuff like that. My character alignment is chaotic McConaughey. And I can't claim that I got from a Cards Against Humanity thing, but chaotic McConaughey, which is chaotic neutral if you get technical, I think chaotic McConaughey is genius. And so, like, I really like Matthew McConaughey. I just do. And I understand millions of people hate him. And that makes me like him even more.
Oh, wow.
I love his...
All right.
Exactly. I love those commercials. I love the way Matthew McConaughey talks to himself. And then, like, I think he's a cool dude, and he is the type of guy I would hang out with.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But I would not see... I can only stand, like, a little bit of Interstellar.
Isn't it also, like, ridiculously long?
Yeah, it is ridiculously long.
I heard it's, like, really long.
So, I couldn't see it. I just want to say apologies to Matthew McConaughey. So, so back to the Christopher Nolan Batman. I did not enjoy those. I did really like the Batman vs. Superman Zack Snyder because it was different than the Christopher Nolan movies, and I will explain why.
Okay.
So The Dark Knight Rises, not Batman Begins. Batman Begins is a little different than those, which is why I like it. What Christopher Nolan does is he leaves out little details of the plot on purpose and puts them in later or whatever. And then he tries to use it to it makes dumb people feel smart. Is what it does.
I gotcha.
And they're always like, oh, you didn't see that coming, kind of thing. And when you see a movie, you obviously see other details.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're in the outside perspective. Christopher Nolan purposely leaves out those details, pulls them in later, and then it like kind of makes sense, but I don't enjoy the way that he does it. And it makes dumb people feel smart, and they brag about how awesome it was. And he tries to jam in too many things.
Yes.
Too many morals, messages, and it's like, it's all about chaos, you need to make a decision, kind of thing. And the pacing of his movies is always extremely slow with not much information given at times, and then it comes later. Batman versus Superman is the opposite. There's always something happening.
Yes.
It gives you fairly full disclosure. It doesn't leave out really any necessary plot points, except with an exception of something that will tie to other movies, which we can't really discuss on here because we're trying to keep this as spoiler-free as possible.
Exactly.
But it's the opposite. The pacing is fairly quick. It doesn't leave out important plot details for later. And it felt like it was a good movie. And it was a long movie like Christopher Nolan's, but it had a lot more information. And just there was much more happening, and it was more entertaining than Christopher Nolan's. And that's why I liked it a lot. So to me, aside from, and this is from Casey Walker, he mentioned this to me after we got out of the theater. He said, if it was a self-contained comic book movie, it would have been great. Would have been perfect. And that's what I feel. If it was self-contained and it didn't set up for the future Super Friends that are coming, the big Super Friends finale, I would have liked it a lot more. And so, to me, it was great. I loved it. I liked the darkness. I liked the editing. The soundtrack was beautiful. Merlin will talk about that in a while. But overall, I really, really liked it a lot. I was well pleased. And, yeah, it was great. And I went in... We'll discuss this later. Merlin, you go next. You can talk about... What was your overall feelings from the movie?
Well, obviously, like you said, the first thing I noticed, opening credits and everything, is when they said music by
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, well, I'm a huge, I love composed soundtracks, because let's be honest, without the soundtracks, without the music, these epic movies wouldn't be as epic without these awesome soundtracks.
Yeah, and Hans Zimmer is pretty good with what he does.
I believe even for people who aren't fans of music scores or soundtracks, everyone knows the name Hans Zimmer.
Exactly.
He's like a celebrity in his own genre world.
Uh-huh.
And so when I saw Hans Zimmer, but then he says, and Junkie XL. Now people are going to be like, well, who the heck is Junkie XL? Junkie XL did the soundtrack to Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, I did not know that. And Merlin, how many times did you see Mad Max Fury Road in theaters?
I saw it 5 times in theaters.
5 times!
I saw it 4 times.
And wow, you guys are true nerds. I saw it once. I thought it was great. I don't know if I'd see it 5 times in theaters, but the first time I saw it, did I see it with both of you, or was it just it was both of you?
Both of us.
Okay, cool. I couldn't quite remember. I remember Merlin was for sure there.
No, and when I saw that, I went and saw it with Cam, and I just turned to him and says, "Oh my gosh, it's Junkie XL teaming up with Hans Zimmer." This is like finding a buddy movie on film, where it's just like, it's like Jason Statham teaming up with Sylvester Stallone. You're like, oh my gosh, no way!
And Junkie XL also did Deadpool, a lot of Deadpool.
Oh, that's right, he did.
He did, and that was cool.
No,
Deadpool's really cool. Maybe another time. I think we might want to get Caleb on that, because Caleb is a huge Deadpool fan. I think when he said he saw Deadpool with me, it was like his 5th, 7th, or 8th, or 9th time.
Oh, wow.
And interesting, he's got a Deadpool wallet. Caleb's hardcore Deadpool fan.
Oh, okay.
He really is.
Okay.
And it makes sense, because if you know Caleb.
Yeah.
And he when he opens up his wallet, on the front page where people have like their IDs or something, I have my my press pass. Caleb has his Deadpool tickets, which is so cool to me. I noticed that the other day. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. That is hardcore dedication.
No, that is.
So you were happy with the score?
Well, when I saw the score, I was just like really excited. I'm like, oh no way! And let's not also forget as well. Like as we all know, Mad Max won 6 Oscars. One of them being for the music,
which is insane for that movie because it's so different. It really is, and I'm not saying it doesn't deserve any of those Oscars. I'm saying it could deserve more. Like, no, I'm not. What I am saying is, like, I am glad that it won that much because it was so different than the regular artsy things where it's like, I have this social awkwardness that I need to overcome.
Exactly.
Or something like that, and it's like really emotional and dramatic. and then it's like a movie with a script that probably has less than 500 lines of dialogue or something.
Yeah, something like that, you know.
Who knows? But it was good. It was great.
Practical effects, good.
No, but
everything.
I only bought it up because, like I said, they won Junkie XL won an Oscar for that music, for that soundtrack. Anyone who's seen that movie and has the soundtrack will know you can, by listening to the soundtrack, you can play the whole movie in your head. And
yeah,
and that's why I was excited to see it for Batman v Superman, because I'm just like, oh man, with Hans Zimmer, we got us a show, you know.
That's a killer combo, just audio alone.
And nerd, I'm an audio, like I said, I love soundtracks.
And that's really, and I think that's awesome because most people when they go into movies, they're not thinking about the sound.
Exactly.
And like a really good, like I look at the audio differently. Like I like to see how it's mixed. And so if you've heard Batman Begins, the audio on the surround sound, it's not that great, to be honest.
Oh,
and
really?
I'm not a huge surround sound guy, but, and my roommate actually did this, and he pointed this out to me. It wasn't me. My old roommate did this, and he watched Batman Begins, and later that night, he watched Expendables.
Oh,
the
really?
first one, and he said the audio was much better. And the part like towards the end with the automatic shotgun,
Yeah.
like the room just reverberated.
Oh wow.
Like it was sick. The audio was well done for that. So I go in listening for audio, like Battle Los Angeles, the first
Yeah.
part of that where like all the sounds clips are coming from different areas from the news. I thought that was good, and then the rest of the movie's audio was not so great. So I look for that type of stuff too.
No, and so when I saw that, I was like really happy because I'm like, oh, wow, this is gonna be great. Because like I said, without the soundtrack, without the music, you just lose that epicness and those scenes. And that's what I found out through the whole movie. I felt like the movie was a little slow, in my personal opinion. I felt there was a lot of talking, lots of dialogue going, and you're like, that's all fine, Danny, I understand. But by golly, I'm like, I just need some, like, henceforth why I saw Mad Max 5 times. That was action from start to finish.
Would you say you're a fan of the Michael Bay blowing stuff up and truck flipping?
Not that much.
Okay.
I saw Transformers 4, and don't even get me started on Transformers 4.
Yeah, we saw that during our 2014 run. Ouch.
I don't give Michael Bay the credit. I didn't see any of the Transformers films in theater. I haven't seen Ninja Turtles.
You haven't seen the first Ninja Turtles?
No.
Really? Okay. It's produced by Michael Bay.
But
there's elements of him there, but
his fingerprints are all over it, though.
They are, but it fits, which is nice. We'll continue.
Anyway.
On.
No, and I was gonna say, I just felt like it was slow, but I do give it credit that those two, Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL, made me stick to the movie. Like, the music is what kept me entertained, because
while the talking was going.
Yeah, because
to me it was the opposite.
Oh.
But no, that's cool. That's cool.
No, I was just saying, because when the Batmobile shows up and he's chasing them down the street, you're like, the music, you can tell those Junkie XL style with Hans Zimmer style, and it was just so cool to see those two mix. And same when they were fighting Wonder Woman in the movie, her music was just great for her entrance and entering the movie, and that's what really won my attention. All around though, I thought Lex Luthor was too, granted we understood that it was his Lex Luthor's son.
Yeah, let's talk more about the casting later.
Yeah.
And we're just talking overall feel right now. But we'll get to casting in a bit.
Yeah, and overall I just thought it was kind of slow, in my opinion.
Okay.
So.
What about you, Cam? Are you on the slow bandwagon, the fast bandwagon, or are you gonna be the middle ground?
I'm gonna kind of be the negative Nelly here.
Oh.
I know. To me, the film, I don't know. There was a lot of just talking story, just trying to fill in this big whole thing, this whole political thing of Batman.
Why Batman and Superman are fighting?
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just. Superman starts doubting himself that people are getting killed while he's going to fight, and Batman's trying to justify killing this guy, even though there's 1%. I don't know. It's just, it just seemed kind of slow for me.
Okay.
But when it got to the actiony parts, I was entertained.
Okay. So you didn't like the build up or the talking or whatever.
I don't know.
Lagged on, kind of?
It lagged on, and it I don't know. It didn't satisfy the hype that had been building up for the past 3 years.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. And I will agree that it didn't satisfy the hype.
Yeah.
To me, it did not. I was still excited. I still enjoyed seeing it, and I saw it with Casey, and Casey and I discussed it afterwards. I saw it with one of my other friends and another friend as well, and my first friend that showed up. She showed up, and we saw it in 3D IMAX, by the way. It was cool. She showed up wearing a Batman mask.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, shout out to my friend Megan. Yo. And she's like, you can tell who I'm rooting for. And I was like, nice work. So, were you with you guys? Were you rooting for someone in this to win? Because we knew the movie was going to have Doomsday or whatever as well, because it showed that in the trailers. But were you guys like... You guys like, I want Batman to win, I want Superman to win, I want Wonder Woman to win, I want Doomsday to win, I want Lex Luthor to win, I want Alfred to win, I want Aquaman to win. I want, you know, did you have someone in mind, between the Batman versus Superman fight, I guess I should say, did you want Batman to win or Superman to win?
Well, for me, I was kind of on Team Batman.
Okay.
Just because, I don't know, I always root the underdog. And obviously in the Batman versus Superman, you know, Superman actually has powers.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, like, I think I told you this, Marilyn, like, when I first saw the trailer, when he said, tell me, do you bleed?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what I'm thinking is going to happen? He's just going to beat Superman down to the point that he actually, you know, draws blood, and then he's good.
Okay. What about you, Merlin?
I was rooting for Batman, in all honesty, because...
As he wears a Batman shirt. Just
oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Look at there.
Well, the only...
He wore it to Civil War as well. No, I'm just kidding. He wore a Spider-Man shirt to
The
that.
only reason I say Batman is because I'm not a overpowered fan. Like, I'm not... You know, like, it's like, oh, I got all the powers in the world. And you're like, well, you just kind of take the fun out of it.
Yeah.
So I was just rooting for Batman just to see how... I want to see Batman over... It's just nice to know a mortal man could be...
Can achieve... A rich mortal man who's a billionaire can beat up
And has
on an illegal alien. It is Trump versus Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
That is what you guys are. Wow. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's move on to the next topic.
I thought it was like God symbolism and demon symbolism
yeah,
more than Trump symbolism.
And they
Which
did...
you could
they
call
did,
the same.
Yeah, could be. Is Trump... But...
Not kidding on that.
Is Trump the little guy? Huh? But, so, I am the opposite of both of you.
Yes.
Obviously. I was rooting for Superman.
Really?
And here's the thing. I grew up loving Batman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the animated series.
It's good stuff, man.
Tim Conroy?
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy. I am bad with names. I'm horrible with names. Kevin Conroy is amazing, and we're going to have a nerd discussion sometime about who the best Batman is. That's going to be fun. But,
it is.
so I grew up with that. I grew up with Batman Beyond. I didn't really grow up with Superman. I never watched, or I tried to watch Smallville. Never could get into that. Same with Lois and Clark.
Yeah.
I don't like the WB spinoff, like Smallville, like the way that the spin they put on it. I don't enjoy that. I thought that's kind of sucked.
Actually, Smallville was its own comic.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
It's its own comic and its own world.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't enjoy it, though. like, personally, I did not enjoy
No,
it.
I
Merlin's a
understand.
big fan.
And so I'm not are you a big fan, Merlin?
I enjoyed until season 4 when Lois Lane entered the series.
Oh, okay. See, I never really liked it or got into it, and I've always looked at it like Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was
Okay, I
like
gotcha.
cheap. It felt cheap and slightly ripped off to me, and it really wasn't going to be amazing.
I gotcha.
So that's how it feels. And I stated earlier, I don't think comic book movies make great movies. And I somewhat feel the same for live-action television shows. And everyone's like, well, what about Daredevil? What about Arrow? I haven't seen Arrow, and I can't get into Daredevil. I just can't. It's not bad. I have nothing against it. I just can't get into it.
Fair enough.
I get you, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Sorry, people. Not to be mean. That's just how it is for me. My opinion. It's different from yours. That's okay. So, However, I think like my morals and like the good human being in me
Yeah.
sides with Superman.
Okay. Yeah.
Though, like and that's why I really like Superman. Like I am kind of a dark, brooding person, similar to Ben Affleck in this movie, which we'll discuss in a moment. But I was rooting for Superman, and I've seen a couple Superman comics. I've seen way more Batman comics, but I'm just drawn to Superman.
No,
it's just a thing.
No, and if you on that note, let's just go into the. Granted, a lot of people look at it as like, oh, he's a man who has all these superhuman powers. It's like he's basically the ultimate superhero. The origin and the creation of Superman was at the time of his creation was when he was created. They wanted to make a moral example.
Saying the first one.
Yeah, he was the first one, but they wanted to make a hero that kids could look up to, that people could look up to, that shows you can be a good person with a good spirit, that you want everything good for mankind.
Yeah.
Everything. That's why he was created, and that's why it was like, oh, he's such a goody good. He was made to be that goody good, so people can look to him as an example, and that's why in all of his movies...
That's why he is the Superman.
That's why in all of his movies, all of his comics, everyone's just saying, oh, it's like you're going to go on to great things, and you need to set that example. People are going to look to you, and you're going to...
And it's got to be a lot of pressure.
No, exactly, and that's why people's like, oh, he's such a goody goody. Well, it's because he was the first goody goody.
And that's about, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not so bad.
No.
And Man of Steel, I liked Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Did I think it was long? Yeah. It was long. It didn't have the pacing I wanted, like Batman vs. Superman. The pacing I'm claiming happened. That Cameron and Merlin are both disagreeing with me on. But whatever. I did like Man of Steel, though. I really did. I felt like Henry Cavill makes a great Superman. So moving into that, let's talk casting. So I said Henry Cavill was a great Superman. Do you guys have any thoughts on his performance or anything you guys want to share?
I liked him better than the guy who did Batman or Superman Returns.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a very good thought. Merlin,
I think, of all the Superman, like, there's been a lot of Superman who played him, that character. I think he just hits on the head, like, his hair, like his hair,
his body type,
his chiseled jaw.
I was gonna say that pretty boy look.
Seriously,
like I just said, he was made to be the perfect example.
Yeah.
And by golly, if there was ever one to have such, no homo, but to have,
Merlin. You
I was gonna say to have. You gotta give the man his due. Like,
oh yeah, exactly.
If I had to find someone close enough to that resemblance, I would say it was him.
So,
okay.
Another thing before we address the elephant in the room. Alfred. Jeremy Irons.
Mm-hmm.
See, okay, here's the problem with Jeremy Irons. He is too good.
He was very good.
He's too good of an actor.
He is.
With apologies to Jeremy Irons. But seriously, though, he's too good of an actor. The problem with him is he's just too good. And when he is in something, he has this ability to instantly take the spotlight and put it on him. And he's done this with other movies he's been in, where he has had minor roles, and you're just like, oh my gosh, he was just so good in that. Like, the movie The Words, no one really knows about it. It's a romantic drama. It's a story within a story within a story. Not to be confused with Inception. It is much different and better. It didn't get much publicity. Has Bradley Cooper and Zoe. I can't say her last name, but you know who I'm talking about. Amazing film. He's in it. Has a minor role. Steals the spotlight instantly when he's on. And that's what he did in this movie. He is just too good. And it didn't, it just overshadowed everyone else while they were on their screen, even though he gave great performance. And that was my thing about Alfred. And I like the take on him that they did. Much different than Michael Caine.
Master Wine.
Yeah,
that type of thing. And every time I saw Michael Caine in those movies, all I could think of was Austin Powers' dad. Nigel Powers. That's all I could think of when I see him. And I just expect him to bust out a joke about shagging. Every time so I could never take that Alfred very seriously.
I never saw any of the Austin Powers movies, so I had the. So when I seen like clips of it, so I'm like, oh hey, look, it's Alfred. Hi, Alfred.
Oh, you're the opposite.
I know. Seems to be a common thing.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Alfred? Probably not.
No, I was just saying, I do think anything that could be said about Jeremy Irons is
He did a great job.
Amy Adams. I'm not an Amy Adams fan. For Lois Lane. What were you saying? Yeah.
No, because he knows, like, my biggest thing is Lois Lane has always been a brunette. Lois Lane has always been either...
He's a stickler.
So you're upset about the hair color, and your nostalgia is getting the best of you here in this case.
Well, she's always been a brunette in the comics, in every show, in every movie. Lois Lane has always been a brunette, always been the dark-haired, damsel in distress. And this one, you see Amy Adams, and you got red. And...
Got red on you.
and I'm just... I guess you would call me a stickler for that, because I was just so upset that I'm like saying Lois Lane has never been a redhead. So everything she's been in, she's never been a redhead.
To me, she just doesn't fit.
And I did, yeah.
She doesn't fit for some reason. She doesn't quite fit in the dark Snyderverse that has been created. She just doesn't fit that well to me.
Agreed. Look at the movie she's been in, and then you see this role, and you just think, was she your first pick for Lois Lane?
Who would you cast for Lois Lane, Merlin?
I really like Smallville's version of Erica Durance.
Okay, but besides her, who would you cast right now if you had to pick for Lois Lane? Or do you want me to come back to you on this?
Come back to me on that.
Come back to you?
Yeah.
Okay, when you think of someone, just interrupt someone in the middle of their thought, and it's gonna make you look like a jerk. She just didn't fit. That was my thing. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Eisenberg.
So we have Lex Luthor. I felt like they gave him a little socially awkward but different, genius, autistic-esque type Lex Luthor, who is the son of Lex Luthor, I guess, is what they were going for.
Lex Luthor Jr.
Lex Luthor Jr. I thought he crushed it. He did really well. I liked it because it was so different, so weird, and it fit really well in the Snyderverse, and I'm going to start calling it now.
There you go.
I like that, the Snyderverse. I felt like it was great. He did a good job, and I felt like that was a good casting, and I loved his performance in that. Did you guys have any thoughts on that? You with the hair?
Me with the hair. Given the script that they was given, Jesse Eisenberg was a great choice for it. Though,
would you cast someone different?
With how this was written, no, I would give it to Jesse Eisenberg. But I would not go along with how this Lex Luthor is portrayed, because to me, he seemed more like the Joker than Lex Luthor.
Ooh. Now, are we talking a Joker in particular, or a specific Joker, or just in general?
Just in general. He seemed more like a madman trying to get trying to get somewhere, but doesn't quite know what to do. Because he's just trying to get Batman and Superman to fight. Why?
Because, and I guess that's the reason why you think it's the Joker. It's because the Joker does things the heck of it.
Yeah, and Lex Luthor to me always seems like a cold, calculating kind of person. He's smart. He's able to,
like Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Kevin Spacey in the Superman movie before the reboot. I'm saying Kevin Spacey in House of Cards.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If you've seen House of Cards, that's how Kevin Spacey is in that, which is amazing. No disrespect to Kevin Spacey whatsoever.
Yeah, but the kind of mentally unstable at the end, ding, 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 thing that he was doing, it did not seem Lex Luthor-y. That's now a word to me. It seemed more. So it's more like you're Joker-esque.
So it's like you're in the nostalgia and what you've seen in the comics.
More just the character in general.
Okay.
It just didn't seem to fit Lex Luthor.
Okay.
In the end, I don't know.
I would have to say, going on top of that though, I saw the same thing when I saw the trailers and you saw Jesse Eisenberg. I swore up and down he's gonna be the Riddler. Because the Joker is a madman, but Jesse Eisenberg, how he portrayed this one, it seemed like
it didn't feel like the Riddler.
I was gonna say the Riddler isn't mad like the Joker is. Let's be honest. There's no other villain like the Joker. The Riddler is just kind of like a guy who enjoys riddles, and he likes,
And he's smart and weird, and all those little quirks.
And that's why I thought when I first saw the trailer, and like because with the trailer he has a scene where he said the wet capes are coming, and that's why I'm just like, it just seems like the Riddler compared to the Joker also made jokes, not as much as the Joker did, but the Riddler just have fun with it, kind of like
now I want to see a Riddler like that.
That's
now I'm excited. I doubt that's going to be done anytime soon
because of Jim Carrey version.
Because of Jim Carrey,
exactly.
Yeah, no apologies to Jim Carrey.
No, and that's what I'm just saying. Like I thought Jesse Eisenberg, if it's like if he applied for positions like what would you give him? I said I would instantly cast him as a Riddler, and I really think he should be nominated for an award for it. Because that's how I really thought it was. I couldn't see Lex Luthor. The entire time I was watching the movie, I'm just like, I couldn't get past my head. I'm like, he would make a perfect Riddler. He really would.
You would cast Jesse Eisenberg as the Riddler.
Exactly.
Who would you cast as Lex Luthor?
Now I gotta figure it out.
No, don't worry about it.
I don't know.
Merlin's still thinking about his Lois Lane. I don't think he's gonna think about it.
I would think Eliza Dushku would be a really good Lois Lane.
Okay.
She's a brunette.
Oh gosh. Let me see here. So now that we've just kind of the main ones. Also, the new Aquaman.
Jason Momoa.
Khal Drago.
Khal Drogo.
I thought that was cool.
I liked the redesigned look of Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman. Normally he's a wiener.
The weird orange green scaly suit.
Yeah, I am happy with this.
Tattoos, I liked it.
Yeah, I'm happy with the Aquaman. The Flash is in there for a flash of a bit. Pun intended.
And then a weird dream sequence.
Yeah, which we'll discuss that a bit more later. With the what's wrong with this part. But the Flash, felt that was alright. I didn't have any issues with that. But wasn't the Flash black?
Asian.
Oh, it was Asian. It was hard for me to tell because it's so dark in the Snyderverse. You can't really tell.
It was also like a convenience store video.
Exactly. It wasn't like an HD screening. It was just from a...
Yeah, and so I'm not upset with that. I don't really think changing the hair color or the race of a character, it doesn't really ruin things for me. What about you, Merlin? Were you Merlin's laughing the whole time and he's trying not to let it record because he knows I'm targeting him.
No, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
No, I was just saying, I am a very nostalgic person, but it's like I like people sticking to the comics how it is. I mean,
I'm a little of both. I like the reinterpretation, I do like the grounding.
I was gonna say, if you nitpick it for me, like if Superman's costume in this one, he doesn't have the classic red underwear on the outside look, and I thought it was just fine the way it was. How was we? Like I said, it depends on the change for me. But when it comes to characters, what kind of hair color, it's just kind of like one of those things that I'm kind of a stickler on.
Okay.
What about Cyborg?
I didn't really catch Cyborg that much. I don't know if I missed that. See, that's where it starts getting Avengery to me, and that was kind of my big fear with the movie. It didn't quite hit it too much, but it was there. Fear slightly fulfilled.
Exactly.
Kind of going back to what you were saying, how there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
That's where I fear there's maybe a little bit too much going on, trying to get too many elements.
Well, as Lex, you know where I'm going with this, don't you?
A little bit.
As Lex Luthor said, psychotic, a little three-syllable word for small minds that are too small to process something or whatever. So I'll just say that as a joke.
Yeah,
that's a big, thoughtful little mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I don't know, getting a lot of different ideas.
Yeah,
a lot of things trying to get forced into this one movie. To be frank, to catch up to the Marvel universe. Yeah, because this is a big competition between DC and Marvel.
Even though both are going to get seen.
They're both going to get seen, yes.
But this has been a fight that's been going on for a long time. This is like Muhammad Ali versus Rocky Balboa or something, because this is like DC.
Coca-Cola versus Pepsi.
Red versus blue.
Yeah.
This has been the rivalry of Marvel versus DC. So, of course... Even though
both are great.
I was gonna say, and even
they both have great characters, great ideas.
Both fan bases are huge, but of course they still want to be. There has to be one.
There can be only one.
Star Trek or Star Wars.
I would say with the Highlander mindset, there can only be one in their minds, and they're fighting for the fan base to see if they can get that 51 over the 49. That's all it really is.
Oh man, that is crazy. It's true. So let's talk. So back to the acting. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Batfleck. Ben Affleck as Batman. There was so much internet outrage from the nerd database.
A lot of outrage.
About this, that everyone was so angry over this. It was like...
I honestly don't know why.
Well, because he originally... if we all remember back in the day, he played Marvel's Daredevil.
Yes!
So they were upset that they got an actor who did a Marvel movie and now has agreed to do a DC movie. But of course, we've never seen that before. Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I was thinking. Ryan Reynolds did a DC movie that sucked. I mean, I never saw Daredevil.
Of course, then he also did a Marvel movie that sucked.
Who was right?
Mutant X in Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yep.
that is true. In the past.
Don't worry, he's redeemed himself.
Yeah, he has redeemed
As of
himself.
late.
And so, I mean, everyone was really outraged about that with freaking Ben Affleck and Daredevil. But were people really outraged that with the Deadpool movie coming out, Ryan Reynolds was playing Deadpool? I mean, they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, but were people really outraged?
No.
Or were they just happy with the Deadpool movie?
They were just happy that Deadpool movie.
And so, like...
You were a little outraged.
I'm biased. I'm not a Ryan Reynolds fan.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I like Ryan Reynolds.
I like him too.
He's the type of guy I think I could hang out with. Him and Matthew McConaughey, we could hang out at the beach.
Everyone has that
Play a
one
game of
actor
poker
they're
with
not
each other.
fan of.
Wait, what'd you say?
Does it play a game of poker with each other?
Probably. So anyway, everyone was so whiny. That's a good word. Whiny.
Hey, back to the internet. Be complaining about stuff.
Yeah, about friggin' Batfleck. Everyone was so mad about this. And so I posted this status the night before on the Facebook.com. And I said, breaking news. Everywhere, nerds are still mad about Ben Affleck being cast as Batman. It seems their comic book / Dark Knight nostalgia is going strong, as many have stated, quote, I'll see the new Batman v Superman : Dawn of Justice, but I'm going to sit there with my arms crossed and a pissed off look on my face. The nerd database, known as the internet, is expected to explode with tons of fake outrage over this weekend, particularly in forms of movie blogs with less than 5 subscribers, as well as Reddit posts, particularly written by the same people who claim they know who Rey's father is from Star Wars 7: The Force Awakens. Normal people are to be advised not to listen to any angry nerds. If nerds begin ranting, normal people are advised to tell them to shut up, as normal people have mostly real problems in their lives and are not butthurt over the casting concerning a comic book movie. It's me dropping the mic.
Mic drop.
But not the mic I'm recording with. So, yeah, the nerds were mad. But here's the thing. I don't think nerds can get mad about comic book castings in movies anymore.
Mm-mm.
They were mad about Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Heath Ledger crushed it. And...
They were mad about William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, which I think he played a perfect...
I think he did a pretty good Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Despite the Power Rangers-esque mask.
I was going to say,
The costume was funky.
But the
Yeah.
costume takes the hit, but William Dafoe should.
Yeah, and I'm really tired of nerds getting mad about castings. Because they've been wrong so much. I don't feel they have the right to get mad anymore.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that really upset me. The guy who was cast as Shredder
Yeah.
in the original Ninja Turtles. Everyone was so mad about that. So they had to split Shredder into like 2 separate people
Yep.
into that movie because the nerds got so mad.
They had to shoehorn in some random Asian guy to play Shredder because they all freaked out saying, he's supposed to be Japanese!
Yeah, seriously. It's getting a little out of control, nerds. Seriously. Knock it off. You're not the ones in Hollywood. I understand that, like, if enough of you raise your voices, you'll be heard. But I don't think you need to be heard anymore. Your voice is so loud, it's ridiculous.
There have been travesties involving movies and what people have done with them. I'm just going to name one off the top of my head. The last Airbender was a shamble.
Yeah, Last Airbender was...
Compared to the original thing, I absolutely loved that cartoon series, and Shyamalan destroyed the movie.
So I saw the movie before I saw the cartoon series, and I was like, what's so bad about this? Why is everyone angry?
Exactly.
And then I saw the cartoon, and I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense. But I don't think nerds, I don't think they have the place to say this anymore or get upset about castings. Except for Scarlett Johansson being cast in Ghost in the Shell as Major that is coming out.
Well, actually,
I'm not a ScarJo fan, people. I've established this. Can we have one episode of At the Movies where I don't bring up where we don't talk about ScarJo?
No.
On something. I think next few weeks we're not seeing anything with her, so maybe we can have one. But Merlin's gonna say in the middle of the next episode, I would cast ScarJo as Lois Lane.
I'm about to say that same thing.
I was gonna say, like, so speaking of going off of what Mark was saying about, like, people can stop saying about casting. Did you actually guys know that when Emma Watson was casted to play Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter movies, a lot of people weren't fans were saying she doesn't look anything like Hermione. Like, that is not how Hermione looks in the books.
Even though she's a character.
But this is the kicker. When we reached Harry Potter, the movie 4, and Emma Watson, they
hit puberty.
I was just saying, like, exactly. Hit on the head.
3.
Everyone shut up. Everyone dropped the argument. Everyone was just like, never mind. Just, she's fine. She's perfect. And it's like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. And she grew into the role.
No, she did.
As where I'm hoping Amy Adams can grow into the Lois Lane role as well. So Batfleck, I was impressed. I loved him. I'm not gay, at least on this station. But no, seriously, I thought he did amazing. And I knew when he was cast, he was going to crush it. Like, the stuff I've seen him direct, and that he has done, he's come a long way in the film world. So much. And I'm just really, really happy that he did amazing. I like the Bruce Wayne he played. He played a slightly morally corrupt Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
With flexible morals and things like that. And to me, that was a Batman that, not the one that I deserved, but the one that I needed.
Slightly older.
Yeah, slightly older.
Been doing this for like 20 years or so.
Rich billionaire playboy kind of guy. And I loved it. The fashion that he had was really cool for Bruce Wayne, like with the tie bars and everything. I thought it was awesome. My favorite was Batfleck. I am totally on the Batfleck bandwagon. Have been since day one. Right after I saw the movie, I tweeted to Ben Affleck. I'm like, dude, you crushed it. Thanks, bro. And I was happy with it. What were you guys' thoughts on Batfleck? Were you guys happy?
I was genuinely pleased. I mean, I'd never had any beef with him to begin with, and I honestly had no idea why the internet was exploding about this.
Probably Daredevil. that is the classic argument I always heard with people with about a 60 IQ. That's usually the argument I would constantly hear from people. People who have no credentials or never studied film. Nothing. And they would just be so mad, and their argument was always at the very end, I just don't like him. That was all I heard.
You know what my argument is? If you have such a bad feeling about a movie or about characters, here's an idea. How about you go get your own casting and you go make your own movie?
Ooh, yeah, by the right, sucker.
Exactly, yeah.
Pretty much.
And so here's the other thing. You don't gotta see it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean, so back on the Ben Affleck, I enjoyed the older, kind of more gruff Batman. And, I don't know, there's also the whole kind of spoiler-ish. Batman kills people in this movie.
Yes, that's
Batman
cool.
Kills people.
He does not mess around.
Everybody starts going off on the, but that's his one rule. That's the one rule. That was
who cares?
Who cares?
This is a different, darker Batman.
He's been doing this for 20 years. He doesn't care anymore.
He's had enough. He's like how you get when you're on, year 2 of your job. You don't care, and you're not going to get fired because you've been there so long. It's kind of like that. I liked that he made Christian Bale look like, I don't know, he made him look like a bitch. There's no nice way of saying it. Apologies to Christian Bale. But, yeah, he really did, just because he was so ripped.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene, spoiler, where he's working out.
Training montage.
He's like, doing like pull-ups. And you're like, oh, whatever, I can do pull-ups. Scrolls down to a heavy tire chained to him.
Yeah.
And he's pulling that up with him, and he's like cut to the max. CGI abs to the extreme as well.
300 level?
A 300 level, which Zack Snyder, once again, he did 300, correct? Did he?
Think so?
I think he did.
We're gonna have Cam
check on that. I think he did do 300, but 300 was another comic book movie, a graphic novel done by Frank Miller.
Oh.
That was, I feel, adapted very, very well.
Yeah, Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder?
Yeah.
See, this is what I'm getting at. I like the Snyderverse, to be honest. and that was really well, played out well. 301 or 300 Rise of an Empire. I don't think that was Zack Snyder. Cam, fact check, please. But I didn't enjoy that one at all. It was too CGI, and it just didn't feel like it was in the Snyderverse very well. But I don't think Zack Snyder did that one.
He did not. It was Noam Murrow.
Yeah, see, I think Zack Snyder is a great person to do these, but that's my opinion. What about Wonder Woman? What were your guys' thoughts on Wonder Woman?
My thoughts on Wonder Woman was I thought she did a good job.
Yeah.
I thought she delivered, and I thought she was a great pick. I thought she had the look. I thought she had
The costume was great.
no,
She was good.
the costume just she was great in it, and she even said when she saw it, she's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to look that good in that costume, but I think she pulled it off.
Yeah.
And I thought she, all in all, maybe even stole a little of the spotlight even when she showed up and everything.
I think she did too. Because when she showed up, and like, it shows us in the trailer, where she like hits the wall and just looks.
Yeah.
And then bounces right back and goes right out to battle. And like, the way she fought, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I was afraid they were going to make her look really, really weak. But I think out of all the superheroes that were shown, I think she was the strongest. Like, stronger. The impression she gave was like she was stronger than Superman. I know that's not how it is. Or maybe it is how it is. But I was just like blown away at how like war crazy. Like, you know, she got up after she got knocked out and she went right back to it. Didn't mess around.
Sounds like a song I've heard.
Shut up.
We'll talk about that.
But it was awesome. I was impressed. And I think that was my favorite surprise casting with how well that was going to do.
Agreed.
Because I went in kind of knowing how things were going to play out, but I didn't think she was going to be that good. So that was my surprise casting that did really, really well. I felt like she did awesome. I would be interested to see a fight where she's like fighting someone, and Jeremy Irons is off to the side being Alfred. And I want to see who gets the spotlight then. I know it's not going to happen, but that's what I want to see. It was that good to me.
It's my spotlight. No, it's my spotlight.
Exactly. So, overall ratings, now for the test of truth.
Oh boy.
Okay.
So, let's start with Merlin's stars.
My stars, I would, overall, looking on it and everything, and I know everyone's gonna be like, yeah, I give it 3 stars. I mean, like I said, I felt like in my mindset that it was slow, a lot of talking. Music though was beautiful. Another soundtrack that I'm totally gonna go buy. The scene, like I said, Wonder Woman nailed it. The fight scene between Batman and Superman, I knew they couldn't kill each other. I thought they did good with what they could work with.
Big spoiler, people.
Exactly.
They don't kill each other? What?
Oh no, there's no Justice League? Anyways.
What about the Super Friends?
And so all in all, with everything, I would move it down to a 3-star.
Okay. Cameron.
So, despite all the praising I was giving the cast, because the cast did a great job, it's the story that I'm hung up on.
I think a lot of people are hung up on the story.
Yeah, but if there's issues with it, there's issues with it, and I found issues. I didn't like... I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff. I didn't like the pacing of it. I didn't like the long, drawn-out dialogue between the characters trying to build up to the fight. It's Batman v Superman. I want to see Batman fight Superman.
Makes sense.
There's a little tease in the beginning when Batman bumps into him and they...
Did you guys see the Jimmy Kimmel thing?
No, I didn't.
Yes.
It is hilarious. Go to YouTube, people, and it's like a Batman versus Superman, Jimmy Kimmel. And it's a scene where Jimmy Kimmel shows up during the fight. not the fight, but like when they meet each other in the trailers.
Okay.
And they're both in that party, like Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
And they're talking, you know, and they're fighting about Batman and Superman kind of thing. And Jimmy Kimmel shows up, and he figures out that Superman is Superman and takes off his glasses. And then gets a picture taken with him, and when Ben Affleck holds up the phone, he says, "Say cheese." and then he figures out that it's Batman. And then the whole thing is ridiculous. I encourage everyone to go see that.
Anywho, so back to the story. I don't know. There just could have been better ways that could have been handled. I don't know.
Okay, understood.
But so out of my rating system, I'd give it maybe a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Oh.
So now down to me. We didn't really have a discussion on what was wrong with the movie, but we're kind of going through that as we're ending right now. So my thing is it needed to be. I wanted it to be a self-contained comic book movie. I know it's not going to be because they got to set for sequels, which is ridiculous. They got to set up for the Super Friends in the next 20-some years or whatever.
Yeah.
But
split that movie up into 2 parts.
Yeah, but my thing is, if it was self-contained, it would have been really great. So now coming down to my decision, would I buy this movie? Yes or no? Honestly, I don't know.
Oh,
I really don't know.
Would it twist?
we have.
What'd you say?
A third option.
I said, would it twist?
Yeah, I don't know. Because here's the thing. Does it have good replay value? To me? No, not really. It's not the type of movie that you could watch over and over again.
Agreed.
And I don't think any of the Christopher Nolan movies, even though I hate them, I don't think those are the type of movies that people could watch over and over again.
Yeah.
I can see where people would watch Inception many times.
Mm-hmm.
Interstellar, not so much. But with the Batman movies, I don't see people watching those over and over continually.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some people do. Weird.
To be frank, though, I actually kind of do want to see it one more time, just to catch the stuff that I missed the first time watching it.
Yeah, so...
Because there was too much jammed in there, in my opinion, that I missed some things. I know I did.
Yeah, and that's fair, because that's how it was meant.
I don't want to see it again, just to give it a fair opinion, or just to give it its fair chance.
Yeah, so I don't know if I would buy the movie, to be honest. Because... I don't think it would be something that I would watch again. I felt it was a good experience, 3D IMAX, but I'm on the fence on whether I would purchase it or not.
Yeah.
Like, very, very on the fence, because it was a great movie, in my opinion. It was a very well done movie.
I enjoyed the action.
The action was great. I really enjoyed the dialogue. I loved the editing, the audio, the Snyderverse. I did have another quarrel with it where Batman is in a dream sequence and he gets knocked out. And he's sleeping within a dream sequence.
The dream sequences made no sense.
Yeah, I did not enjoy that. As did Casey, did not. And...
if they had explained that in the movie...
Yeah, but like he falls asleep during a dream sequence. I don't like that because it reminded me too much of Inception. But...
I mean, I think they're trying to like lead this into like... this is going to be explained in the next movie.
Yeah, and I don't...
But it just confuses me in the meantime, and it doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, I like standalone movies.
Agreed.
To be honest, I don't...
I'm the same.
I like them to be self-contained mostly. Star Wars The Force Awakens I am having a little bit of issues with right now because of the lack of self-containment.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I don't know if I would buy this movie or not. I'm still on the fence. I am leaning more towards no, so I'm just going to go with a no on this one, with apologies to Ben Affleck. Would I wear a shirt? Yeah, I'd wear a Batman vs. Superman shirt.
Okay, well, there you go.
I would buy merchandise. but not the movie.
Did you buy a little action figure?
I would buy action figures.
Okay,
Comic-Con is coming.
Okay,
I don't know if I buy them from Comic-Con. Because Comic-Cons are usually overpriced with things.
$40 for an action figure.
Yeah, exactly. I just found this on Amazon, and it's like 10 with Prime. I can get it in 2 days. So, anyway, that is all for our long Batman v Superman : Dawn of Justice.
Thanks for enduring it.
Movie review. It was an hour, officially over an hour.
Yeah.
Officially our longest show recorded. So, on that note, I am MCS1, and we will be back in a few weeks with another At the Movies review. Peace out.